What is going on, you guys? So I'm with Dave Lotito. We are both powerlifters in the USAPL Federation. Now I personally recently switched over to the Sumo Deadlift from conventional, and I'm not even close to mastering the form yet, but I'm really putting in a lot of work into getting better at it. So I'm with Dave, who's been doing it for a while. He's getting a lot stronger. His Sumo Deadlift, what is your Sumo Deadlift at now?
Sumo is actually 512 right now.
Before I met Dave, what were you at when I first met you?
460.
So he's made a ton of progress, and basically I want to show you guys some tips and pointers from Dave's perspective. Well, I'm in the learning process of all myself, so let's learn together.
All right, awesome. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna set up with a narrow stance. So you're gonna put your foot right on the ring right there.
This is like a starting point?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And then you're gonna put your other foot on this ring right here.
Eat.
Depending on your leverages and your mobility, some people can go a little bit wider, but typically you wanna be about right here, just how Mike has it.
So you'd say a starting point, start at the rings?
That's a good starting point right there.
Okay.
And you can move your way out as you get more mobile, and some people are a little bit more mobile when it comes to the Sumo Deadlift, so it just depends on your own leverages.
Now what about foot, like the angling of your feet?
So you want them to be at roughly a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
So like about right there is good. And what you're gonna do is, you're just gonna sit into it like that.
So you're not bending down,
Nope,
you're
you're not
just gonna
bending
come
down,
down until your hands touch the
Yep,
bar.
always keep your chest up, shoulders back.
Okay.
And then when you grab the bar, you wanna keep that chest up. And I like to start with my hips a little bit higher. And so I'll load my hamstrings up.
What do you mean by load the hamstrings?
So as you get into that positioning, grab the bar, so go down like you were before. Now you're gonna load your hamstrings up from the back.
So come up a little bit?
Yep, and then keep your hips high. And as you're doing that, you wanna bring the slack out of the bar. And don't jerk it, but you wanna pull it enough where the bar's gonna hover from the ground just a little bit.
Okay.
So as you're doing that, as you get the bar hovering off the ground, obviously when you get the heavier weight, that's not gonna happen, but 135 in the bar, that's pretty easy to do. So as the bar is hovering off the ground, you're just gonna focus on pushing your feet out.
So like the knees coming out,
Yes.
like you want to similar to the squat?
Yes, exactly. You wanna drive your feet out and think of spreading the floor away from you.
Okay, so like that.
Yes. So with that, you don't want to be, so the bar is typically going to pull you forward, so you want to make sure that you're pulling the bar into you and back.
So basically, the way you're pulling back, if I let go of the bar, I'd fall backwards.
Exactly. So that's why you'll see at meets, they'll always have somebody in the back of you squatting like this, just in case you fall back.
So basically, if I'm literally not about to fall over, if I didn't have the bar, I'm not pulling back enough.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're basically just pushing the earth away from you.
Okay. Now, how do you engage the lats most optimally?
So with me, I'm going to show you guys my setup really quickly. So I like to set up like this, and I'll crank my quad, so I'll get a lot of tension in it, and then I'll bring my other foot like this, and I'll spread the floor, and then I'll set up. Everybody has their own technique when they set up. So for me personally, I like to go like this. I'll take a deep breath in, brace against my belt if I had a belt on. I'll come down, set up with my grip. I'm gonna load my hammies up, and as soon as I do that, you guys are gonna see the bar is hovering off the floor. Obviously, this is not gonna happen with heavier weights, but as that happens, my lats are initiated, and I'm driving through. You wanna keep the bar as close to you as possible, so literally it should be scraping against your shins the whole way up. Obviously, as the bar is gonna be farther away from you, the harder it is for you gonna be able to complete the lift. So you wanna keep that bar as close to you as possible. That's why it meets. They require you to wear deadlift socks because typically people that are pretty advanced at deadlifting, they're gonna keep the bar close to them and it's gonna rip their shins apart, kind of like what's happening to mine right now.
So do you have a tip for basically keeping your shoulder blades back and stopping upper back rounding?
Yes, so as soon as I set up, I go in like this, I set up like I would, I bring my shoulders back, take a deep breath in, and as I'm coming down, keep my chest up. And then as soon as I pull, all I'm thinking about is bringing the bar back. And then as soon as I get to the top, so your shoulder's gonna be like this at the top, you gotta bring them back. Or it's a no lift in the USAPL. So you need to have your knees completely locked, and your shoulders can't be slouched forward like this. Slouch forward's no good, so bring them back.
And basically for the sumo too, it's something I've really found myself, it's much harder off the floor and the lockout should be much easier.
Exactly. Everybody's different. Typically with sumo, off the floor is a little bit harder. and then your lockout will be good. It depends on the person though. Some people with conventional, they're off the floor is really quick and their lockout is not that good. So everybody's different. It just depends on what your weaknesses are and what you need to work on your accessory lifts, and obviously mobility and stuff like that. So
sumo's a much more mechanical lift, meaning if your form is off, it's much harder to actually pull the weight. Where conventional, you can just muscle it up with bad form because you're basically using mainly your back for that.
Exactly. So sumo is a very technical lift. So you need to have the technique down when doing the lift, and make sure you have a proper setup every time you go in. So for me personally, I have my own setup, like I said. Everybody's different on how they set up, but you guys need to really focus on having a consistent setup every time you go in. I can't stress that enough. You look at any power lifter, they all have their own setup when they go in for a lift. So that's very important. You got to drill those motor patterns into you so your body knows every time you go in for doing a deadlift that you're gonna do that same exact movement how you did it before. So in the last workouts, that's why having a consistent setup is very important.
I also want to make a point that it's really important that if you do conventional deadlifting, you should mix in the sumo deadlift as well. Just to have, I'm a really big advocate for just having a big variety of things because they work different muscle fibers, they activate different explosive muscles. So basically, combining both lifts will help you overall in the end.
Exactly. Same with any other lifts you do. So if you do a high bar squat compared to a low bar squat, it's always nice to incorporate that lift that you don't do as frequently into your routines, so you can build that area and work on those different muscles that you're not working with the low bar squat. So
all right, so one more time,
yes.
Break this through so we can make it really understandable for you guys. So foot placement, you say 45 degrees to start with comfort.
Exactly.
And start the rings as a base if you're just starting out in sumo.
Yep.
You should be dragging the bar against your shins, pulling back. If you let go of the bar, you fall backwards.
Exactly.
You want to spread the floor, push your knees out.
Yep, your knees should be caving in. If your knees are looking like this, it's no good. Literally, your knees should be going outward, just like you would for a squat.
Show them one more time the cave knees.
So you don't want this.
Right.
Okay.
What do we want?
So you want your knees to be spreading outward like this.
Nice.
So that's why you'll see when I set up, I twist my foot to really just initiate this whole muscle group right here. So you get that twist in there. And it's very important that you guys have proper shoes as well. Typically you want to lift in flats like these. So they don't make these anymore. These are the CrossFit Light TRs. But you can get specific deadlift shoes, or you can go barefoot.
All right, guys.
So it looks like you're wearing the wrong shoes,
Yeah,
Michael.
I'm wearing the wrong shoes for this, but I just want to make this tutorial for you guys because it's something I really need to learn myself. I've been practicing it. I'm up to 5x4 at 455. I was doing 565 conventional, but I really believe that due to my limb length and the end, sumo will be more optimal for me. So thank you, Dave.
No problem.
I hope this video helped you guys. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out Dave's. I'll put him in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.